I have no idea why so many people are so deeply into major 7 chords, ba 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 ba, as if it's the holy grail or something, because it's not. A major 7 is just the most basic 4-note chord and should be only played in very cheesy music. So welcome to the ground noise, and of course I'm only kidding, so calm down, okay? Of course the major 7 is a very beautiful chord, almost too beautiful, and if you ask me, not the most exciting one, and that is totally okay, because not every chord has to be exciting. Sometimes the root note, a major 3rd, the natural 5th and the major 7th is all we need, and you can literally feel that the major 7th wants to resolve into the root note again, but it can't. And that makes it a little bit bittersweet, don't you think? And that's the first thing you can learn here. Don't decide for a chord only because it has a cool name in your opinion or some numbers in it, because that's kind of pointless. Better listen to it carefully and its character, and then decide if it's the right chord for your track or not. And please keep in mind that I'm only using a major 7 chord here as an example. You can take this as a blueprint and do everything I show you here with any other chord as well. So let's see how we can pimp up a chord that still sounds a bit lame. Let's look at a D major 7 in its most common form. The root note, the major 3rd, the natural 5th and the major 7th, like I've told you before. And when I play it like this, it almost reminds me of a school bell. But even better is when we start to reorder the notes in the chord. You don't have to play them in the row here. You can reorder them. For example, we bring down the major 7th, 1 octave, play it here, and also the major, not the major, the natural 5th, and play it here. And then we have this chord. It's still a D major 7, but sounds way more mysterious. The first thing is always that we look for a cool bass note. Most obviously, it's the root note also in the bass. Makes it sound way bigger, but we can also have other notes of the chord in the bass, like the 3rd. This works fine, and also the 5th. Such things are normally no big problem. When it works in your track, it's okay, but be a bit careful when it comes to the major 7th and you want to have it in the bass. Well, it sounds interesting because the chord doesn't really know where to go, where it belongs to. Is it a D or is it an F, C sharp? But sometimes I want to go to the C sharp. So what I do then is I get rid of the original D. Then it's no D major 7 in this case anymore, but this chord, and this is what I call an exciting chord. An F sharp minor over C sharp in this case. Or you can also say F sharp minor with a C sharp in bass. So reordering the notes in the chord and also changing the bass note is really helpful when you look for new ideas and inspiration. And it's very easy to do such things in the editor of your DAW. Just take the note, like here the C sharp, the major 7th of our D major 7, and bring it down 1 octave. And we did the same with the natural 5th, the A. And now this is the chord we've created before. And now we will go really crazy with our major 7 chord and put it up to the next level of epicness. You will love it. But before we do that, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel and also leave a like and a comment. That would be really great. Thank you. After we simply reordered the notes in the D major 7th chord, I'm now going to stretch it out all over the keyboard. And that's a really good concept if you are into epic soundscapes and stuff like that. You will see it sounds really amazing. I play the root note down here, then the major 7 here, the 5th here, the major 3rd here, another major 7, and then the root note again right here on top. Wow, that sounds incredible, but it's still our D major 7. Just a little fun fact, you can't play this big stretched out major 7 chord on the guitar, for example. It only works on the keyboard. I mean, you can try it, but don't blame me if you break your fingers. And talking about guitar, I think I have another idea. Oh look, a guitar! The idea is to learn how to play a chord like you would play it on another instrument, the guitar for example. That's helpful when you want to write a guitar part on the keyboard. You know, maybe having a very nice guitar sample isn't enough to make it sound realistic, if that's what you want. You also want to understand how a guitar player would play such a part or such a chord or whatever. So our D major 7 in its basic form is this shape on the guitar. But another way to play a major 7 on the guitar is like this. And this is actually the root note, the 5th, the major 7th, the major 3rd. And this is how our D major 7 guitar chord would look like on the keyboard. And I can tell you that this method, playing a guitar part on the keyboard or the other way around, is very powerful. And imagine you're in a band and finally understand what the other guys are doing. That can really make a difference. Also, when you write music, it's an interesting concept you definitely want to try out. Like I did on my album Nightliner. I wrote all the music for Nightliner on the keyboard and then played many parts on the guitar. That was not only very challenging sometimes, but most of the time much fun and very inspiring. And we're still talking about only one chord, our good old D major 7 chord here, and what we can do with it and how we can be creative with it. And there's one more thing I can tell you, I can show you. On the guitar, for example, we often split the chord into a bass note and the harmony notes, and to play rhythmical patterns with only one chord like this. For example, and maybe that's another idea you can put on your keyboard and in your editor and try to add a little bit rhythm just by splitting the chord into 2 halves or something. There's still so much more to talk about, but not in this video, okay? I think it's enough. I thank you very much for watching. I hope it inspired you to make better music. At least you had fun watching. Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.